Hi guys, hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the word sovereignty. What does the word sovereignty really mean? And should we be using the word sovereignty? Again, anything that I say in any of my videos, this is my journey, this is my understanding and how I'm connecting the dots for myself based on my understanding. So not everything that's in my video may resonate with you. And that's okay, that's totally fine. This is just giving you food for thought and something to help maybe give you some guidance on a different way of looking at things. That's really what my videos are for. But my thoughts is one of the words sovereignty is really keeping us attached to a false grid, a false understanding, a false light, whatever you want to call it. And I say this because the work that I do, I work with a group of mediums, and mediums are basically psychics that can communicate with the dead, with loved ones, with earthbound people that have passed on, are your guides, things like that, the angelic hierarchies, but we also communicate with the lower. So as above, so below. So if we can communicate with the angels, we can also communicate with lower beings as well. So in our line of work, we release these darker beings from people and release the attachments that comes along with them. And this is just something, it's called spiritual hygiene. Everybody gets attachments. I don't care who you are, whether they're around your aura or they're actually attached to you, everybody has them. But in our line of work, we always would check to make sure that after we got done that the clients were sovereign. We started creating a protocol in March that would allow our clients to start the process of clearing themselves, not needing anyone else, like self-empowering our clients so that they could do this work and not have to pay anyone to do it for them. So as we're writing the protocol, one of the mediums, Stephanie, dove down into a rabbit hole and started thinking about the word sovereignty. Like, what exactly does it mean? And in this new age, we throw sovereignty around just like, just another word, like it's just a jelly bean and a big bag of jelly beans. It's just a word, right? It's just a color. It's just an energy, whatever. And I don't think that people really understand how our words can be used against us, especially if we verbalize those words out loud. Because if we verbalize our words out loud, we're giving it more energy. We're putting that vibration, that frequency, that energy outwards, right? It's much more potent than just writing on a piece of paper. So this is why it's important that we understand the words that we use. And also we need to be aware that a lot of our words are losing their original meaning. They're not the same words anymore. And what we realized was that the word sovereignty, in the new age, it's all about creating this illusion that you have free will, that you make your own choices. When the reality is if you're saying you're sovereign, yes, you make choices. However, you are still making your choices in some kind of construct. You're making them in some kind of either some kind of system, belief system, whatever it is. You're still not free. So we started looking up the word sovereignty, going back to the original meaning of sovereignty as far back as we could, and what the limitations were, like the hidden aspects of sovereignty that's not spoken about, right? And this is what we discovered. And I'm going to read it out to you. So the hidden limitations of sovereignty. Sovereignty implies ownership, rulership, dominion, meaning the person or being is still operating within a framework that recognizes authority, governance, or responsibility. Sovereignty often grants permission to exist freely, but only within the rules of a larger system. It does not necessarily mean full self-governance. So many false light systems use sovereignty as a final, like, glass ceiling, making us believe that we are free while we're still functioning under external laws and unseen contracts. So now we got that and we're like, oh my gosh, wow, shit. Just basically what we thought. And because at the end of each session, we always check to make sure the client is sovereign. Well, when we started going back, now that we had this new understanding of the word sovereignty, now all of a sudden we're like, whoa. We started checking our clients, and we were finding out that we thought they were sovereign when the reality was they weren't. When we have this understanding, now all of a sudden our clients are not sovereign. So now we drove down the rabbit hole and was like, well, what word do we use? What word represents true free will? Choices made without any construct. So we came up with the word autonomy. And autonomy means true self-governance. It is not granted or dictated by a system, but is self-directed at every level. A truly autonomous being does not answer to external forces, energetic contracts, hidden hierarchies, or unseen agreements. It operates purely by its own volition. So then we started, instead of testing for sovereignty, we started testing for autonomy. And then there was more things that showed up. So now we're like, whoa, this is really interesting. So we thought we would dive in a little bit deeper. So we go in and we start thinking, well, how can we look at the energetic, I would call it the signature of the word sovereignty. So one way to do it is through its number. Every word has a number. And you might say, well, what's the number, Denise? And how do I get a word's number? Like our names, it's just like our names. We all have meanings if you break down the letters. So if this is an interest to you guys, the technique that we use is something called gematria, Gematria. And basically you can find an app on your phone. You can download it. It's a gematria calculator. And you can put your words in it. And it turns around, and for every letter, so A, so we have 26 letters in the alphabet, and every one of those letters has a number. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 5. Oh gosh, yes, 6. Sorry, F is 6, and it goes on. So what you want to do in gematria is you want to bring all those numbers down to a single digit. You want to add them all together and bring them down to a single digit. So if you take sovereignty and you go and you break it up, S is 19, O is 15, you add 19 to 15, then V is 22, add 22, then you add E, which is 5, add 5, R is 18, add 18, and you just go through the word sovereignty, and it comes out being the total of 159, 159. Then the next thing you do is you break that down to a double digit. So 1 and 5 is 6, and then 6 and 9 is 15. But we still don't have it down to one more number, to a single digit. So now you add the 15, 1 and 5 together, and you get 6. So now we know that I call it the signature, other people would call it something else. But for me, that word holds the energy of the number 6. And in esoteric, in the mystery occult schools, things like that, the darker occult, they know the importance of numbers. Numbers and symbols are so important because they hold a certain energy. And this is where our words come from. They hold the energy of the numbers of it's like the I don't want to say macro and micro, the whole, but essentially that word carries the energy of the number 6. So now autonomy carries the energy. If we were to break down autonomy, A is 1 and U is 21, so 1 plus 21, and go through it, we come up with 124. So now you add it again, 1 and 2, you add 1 and 2, which is 3, and then you add 4, which is 7. So now you're at a single digit, so now we add 7. So the word autonomy holds the energy of 7. So what does the energies of 6 and 7, what are they? So just a general meaning of what 6 and 7 mean. This again, this is just general meanings. So 6, if you do a search, 6 means the veil of servitude and controlled responsibility. This is the word for sovereignty. The energy of 6, the veil of servitude and controlled responsibility. The common meaning is care, duty, responsibility, and nurturing. The deeper meaning, the illusion of service. 6 is a number of being needed, being useful, being bound by purpose. Many systems use 6 to trap people in cycles of responsibility to family, society, spiritual missions, etc., making them feel they must serve others to be whole. A shadow side is that 6 is often used to justify enslavement through love. The hidden aspect is service isn't bad, but it forces servitude disguised as love that keeps people bound. And if you go to the tarot card, the major arcana, number 6, is the Lovers. And what does the Lovers represent? A partnership. Now 7, which is on the word autonomy, means the key to discernment and true liberation. The common meaning is spiritual wisdom, intuition, and inner truth. The deeper meaning is seeing through the illusion. 7 is a number that pierces the veil and questions reality itself. 7 steps beyond and begins to unravel the deeper layers. Now the shadow side is isolation, and that people, the energies of 7 may feel disconnected from the world, misunderstood, or struggle to find purpose outside of questioning everything. The hidden aspect is true discernment comes not just from seeing the illusion, but from choosing what to do with that knowledge. So 7, how many times when you go on this journey, when you're awakening, do you feel isolated? How many times do you feel like no one understands and you're struggling to find purpose? Right? So that tells me that person, it's more they're going into the autonomy energy, not the sovereignty energy. Are you starting to see the difference between the two? So now if we go into, and if we go into tarot, like I said, tarot 6 is the Lover's card. It's partnership, right? So the Lover's card in tarot means, just again, this is all general. There's so many different authors have different viewpoints on it, but this is just a general meaning. So the Lover's card symbolizes deep connections, commitments, and choices that defines one path. There's a duality, and agreements can represent contracts, soul agreements, relational bonds, which align with house number 6 in numerology, represents obligation and entrapment through perceived responsibility. So does it give a false freedom? The Lovers can also mean being tied to something by duty, love, or belief, which mirrors how 6 often creates a sense of sovereignty that is still within the system rather than fully free from it. So 7, the tarot card, major arcana is a chariot. And in the chariot, you have a rider, and he has two animals. They look like almost like pharaoh/lions. I'm not really sure what you want to call them, but they it's movement. Chariot represents movement, but you're in control. You're in the chariot. You are controlling these animals in the chariot. So, and the tarot meaning of chariot is victory through control. The chariot represents mastery over forces, but it requires steering and discipline, meaning that the person still operates within a system, but must navigate it rather than fully exit. However, they're navigating it on their own terms. So the spiritual warrior energy, because the chariot, you think of the Spartans and the Romans and doing the whole chariot races and stuff like that. So the chariot is about determination, discernment, and focused will, which matches 7's numerological meaning of seeking truth and understanding how the system works. So, and then it goes on, another thing that we discover, what it matches the numerology of a seeker, a traveler, a person who's learning to navigate the system, but hasn't fully exited. However, they're calling their own shots, which is different from the Lover's card where it's contracts. You're binding yourself to someone else. Okay, that's the difference between the two. So, to me, I was like, holy crap. Because Arthur, Waite, the writer in Waite deck, who created it was actually Pamela Smith, but he created the deck, and he was very deep into the darker occult stuff. So I have to question why. Why are we using the word sovereignty? So, and again, when we start looking at our clients and asking, do they have autonomy, we uncover a whole nother layer showing us that person, if we ask them if they have sovereignty, we would get a yes. But now that we understand the true meaning of sovereignty, we're getting a whole different response. So I don't know, guys. I'm choosing to use the word autonomy and no longer sovereignty. I don't use the word sovereignty anymore. And I do believe, for me, I believe it is a false teaching. And I do think it keeps us locked into some kind of system, belief system. I don't know. I don't think I remember declaring and then when I started waking up back in 2019, there was a sovereignty declaration. It was like 5 pages long, and every full moon I would sit there and I would say it and declare it, like I would speak it out loud and do it for the entire human population. And now I'm like, wow, what was I actually doing? So, just some food for thought, guys. Again, do your own research. And leave a comment, if this resonated with you, what your thoughts are. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you would like me to go into that unseen world that I work in, and you want to learn more about how these darker forces can influence you through whether anxiety, depression, addiction, things like that, I am happy to do some videos on that as well. But this one just really gave me food for thought, and I meant to do it sooner than what I have. It's just been a little busy, but just kind of waiting for the moment for my guides. But yeah, I would love to hear your comments down below. And my email's down below as well. If you would like to talk about anything, you can reach out to me. I put my website on there if you're interested in our work. I want to learn more about it. But yeah, so let me know. Let me know what you think. I'm curious.